All right, guys. So I want to start us off today a little bit more grounded. Sometimes I start you right into something moving or strong, but today let's do one of my all-time favorite yoga starts. It's the supported fish. I usually reserve this start for more gentle or flexibility classes, but I notice I do have my block here on a lower setting. I like it like laterally placed along the spine as opposed to more vertically, like longer along the spine. So notice I'm getting on this slow. If you don't have this, you can use a pillow. And if you don't have pillows, that's cool. You can just lay on your back, okay? So a rolled up blanket can work. Just notice the prop is under my upper back. That's the main prop, okay? There it is. And then the second prop, pillow, block, could be for my head. Some days I don't use it, right? I keep the head on the floor. It just depends on your intention, how you're feeling. Some days it feels good to go a little deeper. Some days probably not so much. I want to bring those arms wide. If you want a bigger stretch, you can start to reach your arms back a little bit, okay? If you feel like you need a little inner thighs, you might have to reposition how your body's on the block if you're going to bring the soles of your feet together. So if you're just joining, we're just starting with a little opening position here. I don't want that block starting to go near my lower back, and it's likely to happen if you do the butterfly legs, okay? You got to kind of reposition, make sure that block isn't compressing your lower back, okay? So let's start to breathe here. Big inhale on your nose, big exhale. One of the main reasons I love this posture is because how much it's going to just naturally induce abdominal breathing. So as you inhale here, naturally you feel your abdomen lift more than in some other yoga postures. Remember that in breathing methods, the vagus nerve stimulation, this is a nerve, a cranial nerve that's connecting to all the digestive tract. And this nerve connects directly to parasympathetic brain. So a really good way to kind of relax the mind is through the vagus nerve stimulation. It's just very practical. It's very easy. So anytime I feel a little stressed, I go into belly breathing. Okay. So if you're just joining, guys, we're on our back, either on a prop here. We're doing a restorative fish posture. And I was just talking about the vagus nerve breathing. I do want to remind you guys that I want you guys to be nasal breathers. So our mouth's sealed, the lips stay sealed, okay? Even your teeth are slightly together. Not clenching your jaw though, okay? And I do want your tongue to come to the roof of your mouth. That is very key. So you're practicing bringing the breath into the abdomen, slow and deep in the nose and out the nose. And remember that lips are sealed. Teeth are touching, gently, barely. And the tongue is at the roof of the mouth. The tongue should really fill the whole mouth cavity with the lip seal. This is important, yogis. If the tongue sits low, all the lower chin starts to drop. This starts to pull the fascia of the face down. So, keeping your lips sealed, it's not only for yoga. All throughout your day, I want you to breathe deep. If there's something I want you to take home with you today, this week, this month, this year, this life, I want you to start breathing more in and out the nose. Don't be so much of a mouth breather, please, okay? I'm a big fan of training the jaw strength and the tongue strength. I don't talk about it enough lately, but I have one of those jaw trainers where they call it the jaws are sized. You put like a thing in your mouth and you train your jaw to be stronger. And that actually holds the teeth in place, the fascia around the eyes and the forehead don't wrinkle as easy. A lot of benefits there, okay? Nice job with your first posture. Use your hands behind your head to lift your head. Use your hands on your thighs to lift your knees together. Use your arms to lift your chest. Notice the hands, the arms help with everything there. And then we're going to remove our prop. Let's lay at our back here, guys. So let's get into this a little bit more. So I'll start with my knees into our chest, just like I like to suggest in the beginning of any yoga practice, any exercise routine. Just kind of feel out your body for just a brief moment here. Kind of, just drawing circles is nice. Okay, and I like to bend and straighten the knees a few times. So we were massaging our sacrum, which is like SI joint. And then we're bending and straightening the knees, rolling out the ankles. And then our final movement, just to kind of loosen up here, feet go wide, knees bent, and knocking knees side to side, okay? So you get a little knee open up, you get a little massage for sacrum, and you get a little hip flossing. So there's 3 different kind of joint openers. Now we go right into bridge. Feet down, arms down, maybe block between your thighs, please. Arms down, lower back presses down. Let's lift our hips up and pause. Now, even though I am going to instruct movement, I do want you to find a nice pause here, okay? Notice my pubic bone is higher than my navel. It's not here, guys. I don't want this lower back arching, hips low. I want those hips high. Mainly the lower part of your hips, okay? Let's lower down, vertebrae by vertebrae. Boom, right back up. Pause. Try to press your big toe down more. Squeeze your heels to your shoulders more. If you want to bind the outer edge of your mat, roll your shoulders under more. You can even walk your hands under a little bit. We're not going for a long hold yet. These are shorter holds with movement in and out in between, okay? I go down, I lower, I relax the arch of my back, and then boom, I lift right back up. Third one, okay? Work that posterior pelvic tilt, big toe down. Lengthen through my core, pull that belly in, work my breath. If there's one yoga practice you can do very regularly, it's the nasal breathing. A lot of people get all complicated with how they want you to breathe and all these different styles of breath. I don't bring that into class as much. The main thing I want you to practice is in and out the nose, into the abdominal cavity more, and slower, smoother, and deeper. So basically, in a sense, we're trying to take less breaths in a class, whereas in fitness, you might, that's a lot of breaths. That's 5 breaths in a second. I'd rather have you do 5 breaths in a minute. So even it is going to be deep, there will be times when your breath goes faster, but smoother, slower, less breaths. Okay? Now listen, let's lift up into our final bridge and hold here. Okay? So if you want to grab your mat, walk your hands underneath, roll your shoulders under. Lift your heels down. So it's going to be subtle. You know, I'm kind of doing a little calf raise. Notice I am going up and down a few times. Now, this can take tension out of my lower back and hips, so keep that going. Bring those hips a little higher, lengthen my core, and then add. I still press the big toe down as I'm doing my little calf raise. Then I can keep my heels lifted, lift up a little higher. And then I'm going to lower down slowly, releasing my hands. Maybe windshield wipe once or twice. This is such a fantastic, kind of underrated movement. Just that little windshield wipe. It's a good way to counter any flexion or extension. So let's say back or front body, rotational kind of movements. All right, knees go into chest, quick happy baby if you'd like. You know, in an intermediate class, I would say plow, you know, even early in practice. But, you know, that might be pretty strong for right now. Remember, happy baby is just as much straight leg as it is bent knee. Bent knee is just kind of like most postures. It's just bent knee first. Okay, so then I work on straightening and bending. All right, yogis, now go slow. Flex your feet to the sky. Let's try to straighten your knees more. So what I want you to do is press your lower back down. Look at me here. My hands are right below my knees, or right on the thighs above the knee, really. Here it looks like it's below, but it's above the knee on the thigh. I want you to straighten your legs as much as possible. Keep your head, shoulders, arms down. Well, your elbows at least. Your lower back stays down. All right? Well, your elbows might not stay up and down, I guess. Shoulders, though, okay? And I want you to press your legs away and pull your shins toward you. Pull your thighs toward you. So the idea is you're pushing your legs forward, but you're not letting them with the legs. I want to activate my legs, flex my feet and my thighs, and push my legs away and hold here. 3 to 4 more breaths. Oh, I forgot to say, if it's too much, you can do here. Okay, bent knee. But straight leg is a little bit more of the posture. So there's this resistance, yogis. You're gonna feel a lot of hip flexors, abs, and thighs right through here. Okay? Bridge pose, feet down, hips lift, please. Oh, and you can have the block between your thighs this whole time. If you want extra, keep the block between your thighs. It's adductor endurance activation, okay? So we're here in our bridge. We're gonna add on a little bit now. If you have your block, squeeze your block. Feet come a little bit closer together. Now go slow, shift your weight to your right foot. If you have your block, send your left foot forward in space. So my thighs are still gonna line up, okay? Just a quick taste here. Pressing through that right big toe heel. Left first foot down. Slowly shift weight to that foot. Get light in the second foot. Remember, my thighs stay aligned here today. Big inhale. Both feet down. Lift those hips. Hips down. Nice job there. Take a moment. Shake it out, please. Knees come into chest. I keep going here, okay? If I explain too quick or I'm kind of ahead of you, that's on purpose. Don't feel like you have to keep up. Left leg releases. Hands behind your right hamstring now. So we were pushing the leg away. Now we're pulling it toward us, okay? Intertwine your fingers. Straighten the leg as much as possible. Flex your right foot as much as possible. And then pull the leg toward you. This is the classic Hatha Yoga. There was no strap in the classic construction. All right, you just lay on your mat and you kind of boom. Now, as people get tighter, you need a strap, right? So you can do a towel here, but just work on bringing your right hip down and away as you pull that leg towards you. Last couple breaths, your knee could be micro bent, right? Just try to flex that foot a little bit more and ground that lower back there. Activate your left leg too. You can't really see here, but I'm really lengthening through my left heel. Okay, now keep that right leg to the sky. Engage the leg, release the hands, just lift the chest. Cover your left foot if you want more. Press your lower back down, you're curling here. 3 to 4 more breaths. You could always add a pulse, that's always an option basically. If you feel like you want a little bit more. Okay, listen, left foot down, shoulders head down, right knee bends, scoot your hips right, and right knee over to the left. So first twist is a pretty big one for our first twist, single leg. So my left leg is forward. Leah is not letting you see anything today. She's challenging you to listen better. Right knee across to the left, right arm out. Big twist, big breath, yogis. I want you to remind yourself all day long, oh, is my jaw hanging low? Is my tongue hanging low? No, no. Hold the jaw, hold the tongue up. You know, that's basically, you know, we know that if your jaw hangs low and your tongue hangs low, it does restructure not only the fascial, you know, your subcutaneous adipose, your skin. It really changes your skin, how it looks around your face. It also changes your bone structure. All right, so let's come back to center. Let's bring both knees into your chest, please. So it is 3 exercises here. Left knee into your chest, right leg release. Intertwine your opposite pinky on bottom. So if you're here a lot, I want you to start more so than not bringing the opposite grip into play. Maybe if you always do right pinky on bottom, for the next year, always do left pinky, right below the knee and the back, okay? Pull on the leg, relax your shoulders down a little bit, flex that foot. It's not supposed to be like a super hyper straight leg version, okay? It's very active. Flex both feet, pull that thigh toward you. So yogis, if you let your jaw and your tongue hang, this starts to all drop down. This starts to fascially pull all this. Do you know that there's fascia all throughout the bone too? So not only is it affecting the skin, this starts to happen, right? All this starts to hang. It pulls down the eyebrows. It pulls down the scalp. It pulls the eye low. The nose starts to change structure. So what happens is first it's cartilage, connective tissues, right? Cartilage, tendons, ligaments all get to strain and pull. So your nose starts to take a different shape too. It gets a bigger bump here. It starts to get more pointy in the front, and it starts to get like wider. What happens in chronic jaw low is your teeth start to separate a lot. Your cheekbones start to also like flatten. Your jaw structure goes completely away, and your forehead actually flatten. It goes from more forward flattened to facing back. There's a lot of science, yogis, about how like the Neanderthal had the lazy jaw, and that the human had the jaw, the Homo sapien face structure changed because they became more of like a nose breather. There's a lot of like science that basically the primitive human being structure of the skull comes back with a lazy jaw. Now that's it in a nutshell. I'm trying to express how important it is to keep your darn mouth closed a lot. Mouth closed, tongue against the roof of the mouth. Release the bind, curl the upper body, straighten both legs, hover your right foot. So it's like a asymmetrical low boat. I didn't have you really start to twist or anything yet. You're just here, guys. Okay? You're pressing your lower back down and you're crunching. All the while you're breathing. And it's really tough because if you get allergies, you get into this chronic thing about mouth breathing. And what happens is it gets difficult to breathe in the nose. But yogis, it will get easier if you just start breathing in the nose regularly. Okay? You're breathing in and out that nose, it will get easier. It's hard to teach a child when they're having allergies to nasal breathe. But an adult, you can work through it. Okay? Let's do our twist. Shoulders, right foot down, hips left, knee across. So on your back, you're here. Big breath, guys. Everything, if the jaw and the tongue stay hanging down, everything pulls down. This. Okay? It all starts with keeping the mandible, the maxilla, all these jaw muscles strong and up in the head. Okay? I don't work for jaw exercise, but if you want to go on Amazon and get one of those, it's a really good investment. And you keep it with you. You keep all this strong. And it keeps the face and then the head muscles all strong. Okay? Wait, do I have my jaw exercise? Let me see if I can show you. I do have it over here. I usually keep it in my car, but it's this thing here. Look. Okay, so it's a little jaw trainer. Okay, keep it in my car. I do it while I drive usually. Get out of there. Let's keep going. We got 2 more exercises here on the back. I want to do our angled bridge. This is one I want to remind you of. I don't do enough of it in this one. The feet go together. Remember our first pose, but now it's strength. So arms down, feet touch, big toes touch. Press the outer edge of your feet down, lift your hips like a bridge. My hips are hovering. There you go. So we're here. Notice my back's arching. I want my pubic bone higher than my navel. So like posterior tilt. Let your knees open and lift those hips. Feel that butt work in. So I am working in a little bit more of a core approach today to start practice. We're pretty much done here. I'll do one more little exercise for your abs. That will be the main part of our abs today, okay? So we're gonna slowly bring our legs back to the sky. Arms gonna go down. Now watch what I do, more movement. Legs go forward. Remember, I gotta keep my lower back down. Legs come up, pelvis pops. Slowly, legs go forward. Knees come in, legs go up, lift my chest, my abdomen. Now, if you can't really do this, you're here, just going like this. The whole objective is to keep my lower back down as I bring my legs forward. I can start to go more hyper posterior tilt if I use my arms to start lifting my core a little bit. Try to use minimal momentum, and to start, the hip lift is less. But the athletic version here is where I lift up high, lower down slow. Now, you don't really want your legs up over your head as much as they're up over your hips, okay? Last few. In and out the nose breathing, lower back stays down when your legs go forward. All right, guys, I gotta get you up off the back here. When you're done with your abs, take a little, neutralizer, a little circling with your hips. If you're joining a little bit after we started, nice sequence on the back to start our Hatha Yoga practice. I don't really do that enough in this class. Let's rock our way forward and back. So grab your hamstrings, rock forward and back. And then we're gonna make our way up, eventually meeting the tabletop. So I want to do 2 cat-cows in the active form today. So today, Hatha Yoga, right? It is just like exercise. Some days you're going to work strength more. Some days maybe more movement or cardio. Some days more stretching, restorative approach. So I want to try cat-cow. We're quite warmed up in the core now. So toes tuck, knees hover. So we call this bent knee plank or our hovering tabletop. If you want to just do your knees down, that's fine. Inhale, arch your back. Exhale, round your spine. Notice my hips stay over my knees. Notice my shoulders stay over my wrists. I'm gripping my fingers. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. The idea is to add more contraction into a mobility kind of releasing movement posture that you normally do. Really, it's still a beginner approach, guys. All right? It's not by any means too strenuous. It's tricky because it's hard to move freely because you got to tense up so much as you hover your knees. Okay, next posture is downward dog. Please meet there. And what we're going to do is try a down dog here, a cat-cow. So you're in your first down dog. I'd like to demo. So it looks like this. Cat, it's kind of like plank. Cow, dog. Cat, cow. Notice it's mainly coming from my hips. So as I lift my hips up and back, I press my heels down, my weight shifts towards my feet, and I anterior tilt. See my arch in the back? Cat, cow, cat, cow. So I'm using my pelvic tilt as I shift forward to tuck under and really round my lower back and spine. Yes, I am having you intentionally round your spine. And as you shift back, I'm really arching and my sit bones are literally pulling up and away from my heels. That's how you stretch your hamstrings. I don't like to use the word wrong, but I will today. Most people do not know how to stretch their hamstrings. Most people do it wrong. Even people who know exercise decently, right? So you can't stretch your hamstrings like this. It doesn't matter if your legs are straight. They don't have to be straight. That is a big misunderstanding. I want to anterior tilt. So I have you in down dog like that. That's pulling up and away. I feel like I'm very flexible here. I could easily get my head a lot lower. But this anterior tilt's how I get that stretch right there. Okay? And we already did a hamstring stretch. All right, guys, listen. We're going to meet in plank pose. Hold it. A little bit different today. Widen your feet, please. Let's get into plank in a space we don't go as much. I want you to widen, or let's bring our hands close together. So we'll do this one first. So I have my hands kind of like this. See how my thumb and index finger touch? It's kind of like a narrow plank grip. And I have my feet wide. Hold the position, breathe. It's just a different plank pose. Is the door open, guys?
Okay, now listen, a little different. Bring your feet together and widen your hands. So my hands are almost off my mat. Now my feet are together. You can go really wide too if you want. You can go like here. So it's just a little bit of a twist on a posture you hold a lot of. If you're always just holding like very linear planks, let's start to break that pattern often where we could have our hands closer or even asymmetrical, right? We could do a plank like this. We could do a plank with our hands turned out. We just did slightly turned in, okay? So it's good to kind of change up subtly how you're doing your plank work, especially if you're doing it a lot. Big inhale, right down to this, right foot steps forward. Back knee down today, please. Think of it like a mobility drill. Top of the foot down, walk your back knee back. Inhale, arms up, back bend. Press your feet down. Now watch, yogis. You could lift your back knee if you want a lot of strength, or keep it down. We're gonna move. Hands plant, right leg straightens. That's exhale, okay? Pressing your feet down, lengthening your chest forward. How do we get the hamstring? Sit going up and back. Inhale, right arm out and up. Twist. Exhale, right hand down. Bend right knee. Inhale, arms up. Anjayana. You could lift your back knee if you want to go crazy. Hands plant, right leg straightens. Your hands should be on blocks, right? Unless you're really good at all this stuff. Right arm out and up, inhale. So yogis, I'm using my core, my right hip back and down. My chest is twisting up to the right as my right hip's going back and down. Up to the right, back and down, okay? Right hand down, bend the front knee, Anjayana. Back to straighten the leg. Sorry guys, my little pups is going crazy this morning. She likes to find everything she's not supposed to chew and chew on it, okay? Right here, last time. Go slow. Right hand down. Right knee bends. Plank pose. Hold your plank. Now we're going to work in push-ups, but we do it nice and slow. Just notice my hips are about as high as my shoulders. My spine is slightly rounded, right? So I don't want to be here. Definitely. I don't want to be like here, but it's a little rounding, okay? Bend your elbows and hold. Elbows hug in. Don't forget you can do this on the knees. Hold, hold, hold. Straighten your arms. Go for it. Bend your elbows. Come on. Hug your elbows in. Shoulders back and down. Pull your belly in. Hold the position. It's called low plank hold. Okay? Straighten your arms. We're going to do 5. That's only 2. Bend your elbows. Hold. Straighten. You got to get in there and hold. Let it marinate, right? Bend the elbows. Hold. So it's a low plank hold. The idea is to shake, to beg for mercy, to freak out, to lose your mind, to lose your breath and then bring it back. Last one, straighten your arms. So we're not really doing chaturangas yet, just switching it up. Bend those elbows. Come on now, hug it in. Shoulders back and down. Pull the belly in, squeeze your thighs a little bit. You're ready, low plank. Okay, now listen, back up to high plank. Let's step our left foot forward. So it's 3 postures, but really 2, just 1 adding on. So the first one here is our back bend, our glute and psoas stretch. So it's Anjayana, front knee over front heel. Some of us were lifting the back knee here for extra strength. Okay, so I am pausing, but I'm also moving. Hip shift back, front leg straightens. Now, if you go like this, that means that you didn't walk that right knee back far enough. Because look, if my back knee is back, I can straighten my front leg and my hips end up over my knee. All right, so take a moment here. Left hip back, forward fold. Left arm out and up, twist. Remember, Remember, guys, I want to bring that left hip, if you can see it here, it wants to lift. Watch that left hip. Down and back, side bodies lengthen. Okay, left hand down, forward fold. Bend front knee, inhale, shift hips forward and down, lift chest up. Again, we did, I can't remember exactly how many we did. My little pup was busy there. So, you know, we did about 3 to 4, I think, per, you know, through. Left arm out and up. You should feel like an interesting, challenging stretch. What'd you get? What'd you get? Yes, you did. Where'd you go? Go ahead, yogis. 2 to 3 more. You know, we're basically just using this instead of like sun salutation in the sense. We're using that half split like a pyramid or a lunge, right? So this is a way where you see the yoga patterns happen a lot, right? You know, we don't do the half split twist or half pyramid twist a lot. And it is an interesting one. You get a very big kind of neural stretch, right? When you stretch, I call it a neural stretch because you get this kind of very like achy kind of stretch feeling, right? Because you're hitting that IT band so much, there's so much connective tissue, you know, when you're here. And that's a forward bend rotation. So here, it's a back bend. You know, it's kind of like a vinyasa and a sun salutation, right? Which is pretty much the same thing. So when you're done, I want you to go back to plank. Now we are in planks. We did a static plank hold. Now we are going to hold side plank, but I'm going to give you a challenging variation today, guys. All right. So let's meet in plank posture. Okay. And we're going to do our side plank. Now I do suggest a lot of us probably go on the forearm and the shin. So either full side plank or half side plank, which is here, shin and forearm. Now watch what I'm going to do. Hover my left foot. Okay. So this is like the opposite of squeezing our block in the beginning of class. Here, the outer thighs are working bilaterally. Don't stick your butt out. Bring your hips forward. So here, I'm in this like kind of side plank, lifting my top leg. And I'm going to lower and lift. Lower and lift. Last few. Push down through that right shin, right foot. It's a little movement, right? This is big, strong side body work. Okay, we were in the side body in this last sequence. Shin down, foot down, carefully come back to your forearms, and boom, second side. So the main movement is your hips down and up. I'm not really intentionally moving the thigh up. It was kind of like more like lift the thigh, the shin away, and then move the hips. I wasn't too clear there, I don't think. So it's a really nice lateral body strengthener. Okay, so that's like glute medius. Okay, now go slow, back down through forearm plank to our chest. All right, yogis, so today for our bigger, stretchy, active back bend, we are going to do bow. If you need a little sphinx to warm up here, you know, not doing cobra or even camel, you might want to take one, you know, depends on how you're feeling. Go. All right, so listen, guys, we're going to do bow work today. So we just really hit our outer hips. We just really shortened, strengthened, lengthened, and then rotated. So we're ready for bow now. Now, you know, sometimes we would do a bigger shoulder opener, to get ready, but we're gonna go for it, okay? And then class is gonna finish standing today. So we're gonna bend our heels to our butt. If you can't do this, you can do like a locust like this. That's our other option. But if you're up for it, bend your heels to your butt. Palms reach around, grab the feet. Don't let your feet, knees go wide. And the kick really drives the pose here, guys. Notice my thighs do lift. Simultaneously, I lift my chest. I'm not overstraining. You can hear I can speak. I can go a lot deeper, but it is our first round. Let's be easy here. The kick does drive the pose. Now you start by grabbing the top of the feet, and eventually you'll work by grabbing your ankles. You're gonna feel a lot of deep activation here in the butt, the thighs. There's a lot of places to feel this, lower back and middle back. I feel this a lot in my middle back, more so than most middle back strengtheners. So let's not hold too long. Kick and lift. Now between rounds, I do want you to get a little intentional stretch. So lower down slow, make sure you release slowly. Big toes touch, just release your legs. Heels fall apart, arms down by side, palms face up. Just bring your left ear on the mat and kind of let your neck stretch for a moment. And in a sense, you're just kind of calming, centering, because bow can be very, let's say, exciting in the nervous system, make you really stimulating, okay? Now I wanna do another round. I'm gonna do 2 more rounds, okay? So if you can go on your own here and you know how to do like internal grip, or you know how to do one-legged, you're more than welcome to, of course, but doing a good old couple 3 rounds of simple bow, a little focus here today. Reaching around, grab the tops of the feet. Don't let our feet splay out too much and you splay out. That's kick and lift. So I'd like you to kind of go on your own now. You know the pose, we're just doing postural work. I don't want to determine the exact amount of time. I want you to work on pushing a little bit to your edge. Just notice, do you arch your back too much? Pull the belly in. Go for it, yogis. Take another breath or 3 there. Turn your second ear down in between. And then take a short rest. And then you're going to do a 3rd round on your own, please. All right, yogis, so nice job with your back strengthening. So that is our bridge and our back connection. So bridge is here, and that was more here, okay? And the arms are coming back. So it looks like most of you are done there. We're gonna press back to child pose for a moment. Take a breather. So today, practice will end standing. A lot of classic yoga forms, you work up to the standing postures. Now some start standing, so more so than not, I kind of start standing. We're gonna make our way through down dog. You're more than welcome to add a chaturanga. You're more than welcome to add a little hop if you want to. We're not gonna do that today as a group, but it might be a good moment to kind of put that in there. Eventually, we're gonna meet with our feet at the front of our mat. Okay, take a little inhale, kind of like a counter yogi squat or child pose into the straight leg forward bend now. Preparing for our last few challenges of class today, okay? So I had to run down and put Leia, she was going too nuts, she was eating everything, so I had to run down and put her in her little room. All right, so let's stand up nice and slow here. Take a moment, okay? We did a lot today. We're kind of moving around, challenging our mind and body. So just take a moment. I like to do this, a little high knee. Just like in fitness, you know, we do this like high knee stuff. You gotta lift your knees. I like to do this one a lot if I'm feeling a little tense, or this one, right? Those are kind of like my 3 favorites. like cat-cow. So we're gonna try a little balance today, and I will add a couple planes of movement. So in a sense, challenging your kind of fundamental balance posture, okay? Tree. Now, a little bit different today. First round, left foot on the inner right thigh. I do want you to bring it up higher today. So in gentle yoga, I'll usually say on the shin. I want your heel pressing into your thigh, and your thigh into your heel. Don't let your butt stick out. Bring your hips forward. A little bit different today. Left hand on left thigh, right arm up. And today we're gonna try to side bend. Yeah, all right, couple breaths. Now listen, feel your right knee, the standing knee. You gotta engage your leg. That is so important here. Okay, this posture becomes something much different when you're lazy. All right, try to bring the weight to the standing heel. Press the pad of the big toe down, and it's a little side bend, right? Big inhale. Let's not hold this one too long in case you're new. Right hand down, left foot down, right to second side, please. So tree pose, we always do straight up and down, but that's not how trees normally are. Some of them are side bend, a little crooked, right? Right hand down on the thigh, left arm up, little side bend. You know, there's always, individual things you have to look out for. So if you have sensitive knees, we are pushing that leg laterally. The knee can, if my knees are ever bothering me, sometimes you'll feel that in the inner knee a little. Just don't side bend as much or don't side bend at all. No problem, right? We do this one a lot. It's kind of a play on that. Okay? In a sense, challenging a posture you're good at in a subtle way here. So we got about like 3 or 4 more standing postures here. All a little bit different than what you're used to, okay? So that's a side bend. Now we're gonna go back bend, okay? So I'm gonna bring my left foot down. I'm gonna give it a little shake, a little bit one of these, one of those, okay? So this is like a back bend. It's not really a back bend, though. That's the funny part, but it is in that realm. So I'm gonna shift my weight to my first foot, so left foot. Now I'm gonna just bend my heel to my butt. We already did bow. It's like the active, but the heel is actually kicking away from the butt. So here, energetically, I'm bringing that heel to my butt. Now look what wants to happen. My knee goes forward. I don't want to see that, guys. I want the knee to go back. Pull the ribs in. So my knees stay aligned from the side. You see that? Now squeeze your heel to your butt. Now bring your hands behind you. Just touch your fingertips. Remember, it's Hatha Yoga, so your hands are like this behind you. I'm not gripping. We already did that stuff. So here, okay? Here, fingertips touch, heel to butt. Now look what I do. I pull my knee back, I pull my ribs in, and I lift my chest. So it's a very subtle lengthener of the front body. Knee back, ribs in, heel to butt, fingertips touch. Yeah, if this one is tough, you got to point that right toe. You're doing it right. This is a really tough pose. Okay, listen, right foot down. If you need to, maybe reach your arms up. Okay, I'm not going to make you hold it too long. A good 30, 40 seconds is enough here. Fingertips touch. Left foot hovers. Knee back, ribs in. Shoulders roll back. Fingertips stay touching. Heel to butt, pull ribs in. You're here, holding. Trying to lift the chest a little bit. Don't look down. Pull that knee back, yogis. Everyone's knee is too far forward, but at the same time, you're going to arch your back. I need you to pull your ribs in, your lower ribs in. Come on. Work here, yogis. This is your last work of class, these last few postures. Big inhale. Get out of there. Shake it out. Give it one of these. It's not a classic yoga thing to release. In discipline yoga hatha, they say no movement allowed. And they'll say Tadasana, be still as possible. Okay, so next posture, Durdvas. This is pigeon but standing. Not easy, we don't do it much. This is how it starts, okay? Right knee lifts, left knee bends. Angle in. Now, so this is how it starts, right? We do this one all the time. I rest the ankle on the knee, I start to sit. But today, we're gonna do the pose, the full one. I reach under, behind the calf. See the right calf? I grab the shin. Power, Hatha Yoga. I stand up, pulling my right inner shin up toward my chest. Now, I do want to flex my foot. So I'm here. Now, some of us can get the right foot in the left elbow crease. This is, you guys know, like, basically pigeons are like my worst range of motion, so I have trouble demonstrating a lot of this stuff. But eventually, actually, you're standing up tall, and that right foot, so pretend I was standing. You can't see my lower body, right? I'm here eventually. Now, with practice, that right foot standing goes in the elbow crease. I really got to engage in your heel. With practice, the shoulder goes behind the knee. With practice, the leg goes behind the head. That's full Durdvasana. We're pulling that leg up actively with the arms today here. Okay, so we're doing the Hatha Asana right now, just side to side. Now I need you to go slow, right? So back here, you were here, 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 here. Now you're here, 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 here. So it is a counter. Get out of there slowly, please. Take a moment. So Durdvas. Second side. We're just trying to hold this. About 45 seconds a minute here on this one, okay? So you're holding. Go ahead when you're ready, please. Instead of just always darn stretching our pigeon, right? It kind of, I don't want to say annoys me, but you know, you go to 1,000 yoga classes by 1,000 yoga teachers, and not many people are doing, you know, the complexities of the Durdvasana, not only in a stretch form, like literally you'll do the same thing over and over, figure four or stretching it, but you know, we need to add active forms of this posture. Piriformis tension is a really overlooked exercise, not only in yoga, but in fitness as well. And you know, the key, I like to say, guys, the way we reduce pain often is by actually strengthening. All right, not by stretching, but often we need to kind of activate muscles that are what we call like stuck long or stuck short and weak, you know. We got to activate those muscles that we tend to stretch too much, guys. All right, so please take your time, get out of there slow, give it one of these. All right, so that's 3 asymmetrical postures. Big side bend, big, you know, big back body, right? And then big kind of rounded forward body. So here we go. Our final standing posture for time's sake today. I was going to do 2 more. We'll throw the last one out. We don't really need it. Now, this is the balancing toe. We do it a lot. It's chair posture. Arms go forward. Now, I'm going to give a couple options today, guys. I'm going to bend my knees. My feet are about hips width distance. I'm going to shift to the balls of my feet. I'm going to lift my heels. And you can see how unstable I become. Now, I don't want to be like this. I want to see if I can bring my knees forward to stack my hips more over my heels and my shoulders over my hips. And I want to remain. I want to hold. Okay, now you're going to hold there for a couple breaths. You might go a little lower, but that's more advanced. And then if I want, I can straighten my legs all the way up and then bend my knees down again. So it's these like, they call them like toe squats. In fitness, it's usually considered like a little bit more like an intermediate thing. It depends on who you talk to. You know, some people are going to call that fundamental. Some people are going to err on the side of caution and say, listen, you know, get good at squats. But we do so many things if you're here regularly to work this. We need to activate our toes more, yogis. Even in yoga balance, we're in with the heels down, we're in the arches. We got to get into those toes very actively, okay? So listen, last part, what do we need? We need the twist, right? So it's subtle today. We're gonna lift up all the way. I still want your heels lifted. This is endurance on the balls of your feet, okay? Now it's very subtle. Don't let your hips twist. Keep your hips forward and just twist to the right. That's our standing twist today. It's very subtle. So from the side, I'm here. Notice my hips didn't move. I'm not here. My right hip is forward as my chest turns left, or right, excuse me. So my right hip is pushing forward, and I'm twisting here. It's subtle, but it's actually quite profound once you get into it. Back to center. Last part. Oh, your heels stay lifted, guys. I know it hurts a little bit, okay? Left. Left hip forward, but pull ribs in. Squeeze your thighs, squeeze your butt. Twist left strong, but your left hip goes forward against it. So as I twist left, my hip wants to go. Don't let it. Hip forward. Twist left from the core. Reach those arms up. Relax your shoulders. This is basically our really last strong posture, guys. Now, go slow. Big inhale. Woo! Exhale, back to center. Now, I know I didn't give inversions today or arm balances, so you know I love to do that mostly in my own practice, all classes. If you wanted to take something like that now, we can go to yogi squat. It's kind of like a little reset for the body. If you want to go crow here, get into a headstand, do that. You don't need to do big stretches every day like I'm about to do, okay? We will start stretching at this point. Think more still, meditative lengtheners. Step back. Big toes touch knees wide. Lean back. With practice, readjust your hips on your heels, on your form. So my big toes are touching. My heels are under my glutes. My knees are wide, see? With practice, upper back, head down. Deep breathing. Now, we did do supported fish posture in the beginning, which is a big arch of your back. And this is another round of that. We didn't do cobras, which is where most people are going to find the lengthening of the front body, the arching of the back, the extension of the spine. So we need a good go at that right now, in case your bow wasn't, worked well. So we got to kind of work a back bend here. Close your eyes, take a few more breaths. Somebody is still doing headstand, crow, take your time. Maybe you do a little handstand at the wall instead, all right? That's the thing with a group class, I don't teach like peak pose classes. I don't do that. I teach more like well-rounded classes every class. And the thing is, the average person doesn't need everything every day. We all have these kind of patterns. So there's certain things, some people are gonna need the stretch, some people need the back bend, the side bend, some people are gonna need the leg strength, and everyone needs something. And the key is to kind of recognize what you need, do a lot of that, but also, add some things in that are a little bit more fun and something you're working on, you add that into practice. All right, guys, so listen, hamstrings are done. We're not gonna go there. Outer hips are done. We're not going to go there. We did the straight leg, look, and we did the pigeon standing tag. So we're done there. We also did the reclining twist. So deep twist there is done. I'm going to teach frog. So we went from front thigh to inner thigh. The reason I'm doing that is because those two work together. A lot of people have chronic hip flexor tightness. Hip flexors are done as well. Anjana. We're going to go inner thighs. Now, if you can't do frog, you can do butterfly. I do want knee needles. So this is more posterior. This stretch is very different from this. Okay, but I'm going to do the weight bearing version. Now, it is a big one, so you do need to pad your knees. And I simply come from tabletop to widen my feet and knees. Look at my feet. You see how they turn? Once I get my legs wide enough, my feet can turn in and out. So with my toes face forward and back, my knees are going to go wide, my forearms are going to come down. All right, guys, so let's hang out here, close our eyes. The goal is to get your knees wide. If your knees hurt, you got to pad. Just notice, yogis, my hips are in relation, from the side, you can see my hips are to my knees. I'm not going forward. Let's get into it. Close your eyes, breathe. With practice, look at this. The lower my hips come down, the lower my upper body can come down. I remember, the first 5 years of doing this posture, it was really achy and intense to get in and out of, to hold in it, to be still and relax. Now it's kind of easy. I can pop right into it, relax well, doesn't really hurt that much. My pain receptors have been turned off because there's been no injury. And, it feels pretty good. So keep working, guys. You're reprogramming your nervous system to not fire pain so much. Tell your body it's fine here. If a posture hurts, tell your body. Your consciousness controls your consciousness is the most evolved form of your nervous system. Tell your nervous system it's okay. If something hurts, tell your pain receptors, literally say pain receptors in the groin, in the knee, stop firing. Okay. So listen, guys, that's a nice little inner thigh stretch there. So we went front and medial. And we could, we have a couple options here in the end. I think a spinal twist, a stretchy one might be good here. We did a couple deep ones. We did the half split twist, and we did the on our back twist. Wasn't a twist heavy class by any means. So, that's a pretty good hold, good minute and a half or so there, depending on when you got in. Now to end practice, I like to suggest a couple things. If you want to throw your legs up the wall, because we did minimal inversions, we never even lifted a leg. We didn't do leg extensions today. It's kind of rare. Another option could be just something like this. That's always a nice ending to a practice. Seated spinal twist, okay? Easy version could be something like this. Some people might want to roll onto their back. I mentioned plow in the beginning. That's always a nice ending as well, where you kind of go here, here, and here, shoulder stand. I mentioned legs up the wall. It's kind of a bigger approach here, the hepatic portal drainage. There's not a lot of scientific evidence about the hepatic portal vein. If people drink a lot, right, or something, where their liver is getting a lot of stress, there's this vein that goes from your small intestine. It's a big vein. It's like the size of like a quarter, right, on some people. And it goes from, like, let's say your small intestines, your digestive tract, to your liver, and it has to go like upward. And basically this is the vein that's taking a lot of the nutrients we ingest towards the liver for chemical processing. And it's running up against gravity without blood pressure. So it's nice to find ways to assist the function of the body, like the fluid movements. I've looked for some evidence about that, and couldn't really find much, but intuitively it makes a lot of sense that bringing the pelvis, so the digestive tract, let's call it, above the liver, where the liver sits on top. As far as metabolic health, we want a lot of awareness into the liver, right? So I like to get the hips got to go high. So this doesn't do it. The hips got to go up. So whether you use a block or you do your shoulder stand. So listen, guys, you got time for one more stretch here. You got to get a minute or so. How about I say close up physical practice? Easy variation could be something like this. I'm just taking that block under the head, getting a little trigger point where the edge of the block. The edge of the block's right at the base of the skull. Giving myself a little massage. It's always good to add on something soothing too.
So I do have 10 a.m. right on the dot here, guys. So it's probably smart here that we get to our final meditation. And remember, our objective is to set an intention to rest. What does that mean? How do we rest the body? We get comfortable, we close our eyes, maybe even put a little towel over the eyes. You fidget a little just like you would in bed, but then you kind of commit to a space and just start to relax. I do often when I turned my lights off last night, I'll take a few deep breaths in and out the nose, nice and slow, deep and calm, but then that goes away too. So in a sense, you're kind of setting up for that rest. Yeah, take your time. If you want to do your shavasana on your own, some of you are still going with your postures. That's totally fine. But here in the end, the real yoga minimum is 2 minutes of this posture. Letting your bones get heavy, melting into the floor. The word is surrender. So the physical body releases. The the breath body releases. And the calming of these two kind of more superficial layers starts to calm the mind. But now with a lot of focus and intensity in the mind, we all relax, okay? So final pose here, just another good 2 minutes or so. Let your body rest, please.